Just take a few breaths and pull our attention inward. Letting your eyes gently close or softening your gaze. Sometimes softening your gaze helps if you're feeling sleepy. Feeling yourself supported in your chair. Letting your body relax and let go of the stress from the day. Maybe taking another deep breath and exhaling, just letting go, letting that stress and tension just melt off, roll off of you. Keeping your belly soft and your shoulders down and your jaw muscle relaxed. And doing a scan through your body, just noticing if there's any areas that are more tense than another. And if so, just breathing into those areas and relaxing them a bit more. And then bringing your attention to your breath, feeling it enter your body and exit the body, noticing all of those physical sensations, the different temperatures, the movement of your body as you breathe in and out. So we're sitting here letting go of the day. Thoughts come in. We can just notice them and continue paying attention to our breath, moving in and out of our body, being here in this group. Just taking this time for yourself. And again, noticing when you're caught in a thought and just coming back to the breath, returning to the anchor of your breath, your body. And when you're ready, just gently opening your eyes, coming back to the group. Hmm. So it is Martin Luther King Day today, and I have a suspicion that people are thinking that we're not doing this tonight, which is fine. But I'm glad you guys are here. It's good to see you too. Hope you're staying warm, Feather. Are you bundled up? Yeah, good. So, I wanted to talk a little bit about compassion. When we started talking at the beginning of the year, we wanted to set our intentions for what we want in this year. So that means kind of doing a review, looking over things. What do we want to let go of? What do we feel we should or need to let go of? Um, and sometimes that's not easy, letting go of things. But even just to start out slow, just doing little things, just walking through the house, opening some closets, and just maybe taking one thing that you haven't used in a long time and you don't think you're going to use, and just putting it in a box. And that's it. If it's really hard to let things go, that's a really big first step. Um, but it is, we have to start, right? We have to start somewhere. And I think a lot of times what keeps us from moving into the direction that we want to go with our New Year intentions is all of that stuff that we went through as children, all the blockages that we created with different emotional experiences. And we carry that along with us in such a habitual form that we don't even know we're doing it. We're not even aware of it anymore. So I think part of setting intentions is to really take some time and to look at what might be getting in our way. I know that for me, today, for instance, last night Homer kept me up. I was up almost all night. He's fine. He just didn't feel good and he was whining. And so I didn't do anything today. I sat and I kind of just didn't do anything because I'm tired. The simple act of not doing something is really hard for me because I have so much guilt around not doing something. There's a lot of shame that was um, somehow I adopted, whether it was somebody made me feel shameful or guilty, I don't know. But I noticed it today. And I've noticed it before, but I didn't really have a name for it until today. And I looked at it and I thought, it's okay to just sit down for a while. It's okay to not always be busy. And I tell people that, but it's really hard for me. So I was practicing some self-compassion. And compassion for other people is really easy for me, and I think it is for most of us. But self-compassion is a little bit more challenging. Rumi says our task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find the barriers within yourself that you have built against it. And I love that because it's a great reminder that I have built up walls around me and I have bought into these feelings of guilt or shame. And I don't need to. I just need to notice that I'm doing that I'm in that habit again. So that's one reason we practice our metta practice, our loving kindness practice, so we can develop that loving awareness of these new experiences. And we can start to develop some kind of appreciation for where we are now. And that helps let go of those built-in feelings of shame and guilt that I have. So that loving awareness is really helpful. Um, the way I see compassion is love in action. It's more of a verb. So, in order for me to feel compassion towards someone, I need to really look at the person as a human and relate to their suffering. And then I feel something in my heart thinking, oh, I know how that feels, or oh, it's hard to see that somebody suffering. What can I do? But I don't do that very easily for myself. I saw myself suffering with this heavy guilt and really lousy feeling. It was not comfortable. And I thought, I need to practice self compassion with this, but I don't really know how. And it's funny because so what I did was I sat kind of away from myself with my eyes closed and pretended I was talking to someone else. And it really helped me give myself that attention and uncover what was going on. So if I start talking to myself as if I'm a friend or someone I care about, it comes out completely differently. And I think that's really interesting. I think a lot of us do that. So this practice is really important because we enjoy taking care of others. We enjoy sharing good times with our friends. We enjoy being there when a friend needs us. We really like and are proud of ourselves when we can give that to somebody we care about. Just hold space for them and listen. Um, we could do that so much better when we learn how to do that for ourselves. So I'm really going to practice that. Two things I've decided I need to practice to be happier in my life is to practice more patience and to practice self-compassion and really start taking care of that hurt person inside of me, whoever that is. And it's funny how I don't really want to go there. It's really easy to just ignore that, just walk away. And I've done that for so many years that that's the habit. The habit is I don't take care of that person. And I really believe that in our society, that's how we were raised, especially women. We're caretakers. We take care of others first. And that can lead to a sense of I don't deserve this. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. Um, and even on a subtle level, we may not feel those feelings real heavily, but I think on a subtle level, when we don't put ourselves first once in a while, we don't take care of ourselves, it sends that message that we're really not that important, that other people are more important. And we know that's not true. We know we absolutely deserve love. We absolutely deserve to be happy. And yet we still have those barriers. So I really want to encourage just looking at that, just looking at, do you feel shame or guilt? Do you feel that you really don't want to look at why you don't want to let go of things? A lot of us hold on to objects because they bring memories, or it's something we've always had, so we feel some comfort in that. And there's nothing wrong with that. I have plenty of things that I probably will not let go of, and that's fine. But there's a lot of stuff that I really don't need, and I could very well let go of once I get to that point. So it's going to be an experiment, and I want to encourage you to look at that and maybe share with us what you find out when you do that. What do you uncover? So part of that too is realizing that nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect. I'm perfectly imperfect. I love that saying because it's it kind of covers it all. I can be human and make mistakes, and it's expected. I'm human. It's part of the experience of being human. So learning to embrace that part of ourselves, learning to accept that, we trip, we fall, we get up again. We don't need to beat ourselves up every time we make a mistake. I'm really good at beating myself up. Not as I used to do it more, so I'm getting better at being nice to myself too. So this practice of mindfulness is in combination with the compassion, right? So we're being really aware of how we're talking to ourselves, how we're feeling when we're sitting, making a mistake, or not doing anything, or whatever it is that might trigger this feeling of that's not so great. We really become aware of that and look at it and kind of dig a little deeper. What's underneath that? Where's that coming from? Can I look at that in a kind and compassionate way with myself? That's a challenge for me. I have a feeling it's a challenge for other people too. But I like myself. Generally, I think I'm a pretty good person and I do care about other people. But the deeply ingrained part of not caring for myself is real. It's really there. And wherever it comes from, I bought into it. And I could lay blame on my parents or my family or a teacher or wherever, but it's not their fault. It's just something I went through. They may have been part of it, but I bought into it and agreed, oh, I'm not a good person. I didn't do that right. So little kids do that. And I'm, 66 years old. I really don't need to hold on to those things anymore. So that's what I'm working on, letting go of all that stuff. This is really good practice, this mindfulness of being compassionate toward ourselves. So anybody want to have anything to add to that? I have a couple of feel free to unmute yourself if you want to jump in. I have a couple of poems of Rumi, who I don't know. Rumi just speaks to me sometimes. Says, if I love you, I love myself. Self-love is the foundation of all love because we radiate love from the inside and pour it out onto others. It's a cycle. And as we love ourselves, we have the ability to love others. And the kinder, more patient, and more compassionate we are to others, the more we fall in love with ourselves. Then that's a lot of what Buddha taught, the generosity for others is also for ourselves because it makes us feel good to help others. And there's one more poem that I'll share with you that is Rumi's, and he called it Wax, and it's more or less about why we take, why we're so mean to ourselves, why we don't give ourselves a break in any way. At least I don't. So I love this because I was reading it today and I said, yeah, this is kind of hits the nail on the head. He says, I must have been incredibly simple or drunk or insane to sneak into my own house and steal money, to climb over the fence and take my own vegetables. But no more. I've gotten free of that ignorant fist that was pinching and twisting my secret self. The universe and the light of the stars come through me. I am the crescent moon put up over the gate to the festival. So that realization that he is the crescent moon over the gate to the festival. He is the good stuff. He doesn't need to beat himself up and take pieces of himself and throw them away anymore. I thought that was really beautiful. So let's do a meditation. We'll do a compassion meditation, and I'll read some phrases and leave some pauses in between. And while I pause in between, you might want to repeat the phrases in your head, and see how they feel, and just notice what might come up. And try not to critique it or have any judgment about it. Just notice what comes up. So again, we'll sit comfortably. And take a few deep breaths. Bring your attention inward. Let the outside world be outside. We're just sitting here in this group, this nice group of friends, sharing this space. Letting your body feel heavy in the seat. And reminding ourselves that we're safe where we are. We deserve these few minutes to ourselves. And maybe look over maybe the past week and see if anything comes to mind of a time where you weren't speaking nicely to yourself, or you were disappointed or frustrated. And just look at that. What was that about? What was underneath all of that? Was there a feeling of shame or unworthiness or any kind of guilt? And if you can identify what it was underneath that, just noticing it, saying, okay, I see you. I see where you're from. I see where you began. And you can love that part of yourself because that's very human. It's a very human part of ourselves. And if it's wounded, we need to be giving that part of ourselves some tender, loving care, just as you would any child that was hurt. If you felt a child was feeling those feelings, what would you do? You might pick them up on your lap and soothe them or tell them nice things, all the positive things about themselves. You can take a few moments and just see if you can find any of those feelings and give that compassion to yourself. maybe you can tell this part of yourself a few phrases. May you be held in compassion. May your pain and sorrow be eased. May your heart be at peace. May you hold yourself in compassion. May your pain and suffering be eased. May your heart be at peace. May I be kind to myself. May I accept myself as I am. May I be kind and compassionate to myself. May I accept myself as I am. This from Walt Whitman. He says, I am larger than I thought. I did not know I held so much goodness. May I be filled with loving kindness and held in loving kindness. May I find and embrace a deep and natural peace. May I know deep in my heart that I am worthy of all good things. May I take care of myself wisely, happily, and joyfully. May I allow myself to experience love, joy, and wonder in this life. May I be well in body, mind, and spirit. May I find contentment in all of my human qualities. May I awaken to the truth of loving presence and be free of suffering. May I be held in the heart of love. May I make a friend of my body. May I know physical happiness and the causes of physical happiness. May I be at ease and happy. May I embody my love and understanding. May I live with ease of well-being. May I keep my heart soft and hold myself with compassion. And this from Martha Osawait. Do not try to save the whole world. or do anything grandiose. Instead, create a clearing in the dense forest of your life and wait there patiently until the song that is your life falls into our own cupped hands. Then you recognize and greet it. Only then will you know how to give yourself to this world so worthy of rescue. Ah, so thank you for meditating with me tonight.